Welcome back. We're here with Breeze again, and we're going to be looking at the metal element points, which is going to be your lung and large intestine. So lung is your yin and large intestine is your yang. And these points are going to be marked in silver, which might be a little bit hard to see on her. And the first point we're going to look at is lung 1. Now on her, I put it a little higher. Sometimes I feel it a little lower, but it's in, so here's the pectoral muscle, here's where the sternum is, and if you go kind of, there's like ridge in between the pecs, and as you come down in that ridge, you fall into a hole. Now for her, now in particular, my other horses don't have this, she has this cowlick here, and it's right underneath that cowlick, which she's not standing. Even if she was, you'd see it's for her, it's right underneath that cowlick. You can see that, and that is lung 1, and that is the alarm point for the lungs. The next point we're going to look at is going to be lung 5, which is the water point, and this is in line with the elbow, and it's also, so here you have pericardium 3, and then you have this biceps tendon right here, and on the other side of that big tendon, that is lung 5. So right, that's the tendon, it's right there. Now the lung then goes down the inside of the leg. So we're going to look at this leg instead. And as you come down the inside of the leg, you're going to hit this big bump. It's like a hook, or some people describe it as a ski jump. It feels like a ski jump. It kind of hooks up. And that is lung 7. And lung 7 is going to be the master point of the head, neck, and cranial chest. So I'll look at it from this angle. You come down and you kind of hook. See if you can, oh, there we go. Hook lung 7, and then you come around the back side, and it's not directly below it. It's a little bit more caudal. So it's come around, and then you'll feel another divot underneath, and that is lung 9, and that is the source point. And then you're going to keep coming down, and you're actually going to hit lung 11 is here, and lung 11, and that's going to be on, it's a third of the way, or we would say this is at 8 o'clock on the right foot, which would make it be at 4 o'clock on the left foot if you could see it. I find it easier to think of it like that and just reverse them. But yeah, it's a third of the way from the back, or 2/3 of the way from the front. And then next we're going to go to the large intestine 1. And large intestine 1 is the ting point. And that's going to be at 10 o'clock on the right foot and at 2 o'clock on the left foot, or a third way back from the front, 2/3 from the back. And that is large intestine 1, and then the large intestine meridian comes up, and the next point you're going to find is large intestine 4, and this is another big point. It is a good pain point. It is the master point of the head, neck, and gastrointestinal tract, and it's also part of the 4 gates along with liver 3. And the way that I find it is it's not directly on the inside of the leg, and it's not really on the front, and it's, you know, kind of diagonally across from tib replicator 4, but I go on the inside, I go over that lung 7 and come down in front of lung 9, and now I'm kind of underneath that joint, and then I just roll it forward, which is very, very similar feeling, honestly, to stomach 36, and it's that same roll it just a little bit. And that is large intestine 4. I'll show you again in here. Come down and roll in. Large intestine 4. And then the large intestine meridian actually goes on the outside of the leg. And next we come to large intestine 10, which on her you can see it's down here. And that is the 3-mile point of the foreleg. And then above that, on the other side of this big muscle, is large intestine 11. Now, large intestine 11 is a heat releasing point, and it's really good if you have a horse that's overheating or it's a really hot day and it's kind of like a steam vent. And then the last point we're going to have is going to be large intestine 16, and that is also up on the actual scapula, and that's the test point for the fetlock. And so here you have your gallbladder 21, and then your large intestine 16, and then your stomach 10. And you can actually make a C with your hand, how I said, oh, you know, you kind of have this and you find stomach 10. Well, the other side of that is going to be a large intestine 16. And then we come to the shoe points. The first one we're going to see is bladder 13. And bladder 13 is you go around the back of that scapula, and it's right after, and you'll fall into a hole. And then the next point is bladder 25, and that's going to be large intestine. And that is, whereas you had the small intestine point was over the back of the croup, it's right in front of there. So as you're moving back, it's farther back, and it's right before you go over that tubercocci. So it's right here, and then when you go over, boom, the next point you find is the small intestine point.